So with both the Cargill plant at High River and the JBS plant at Brooks having COVID outbreaks, how is that going to affect the packing industry for both Alberta and Saskatchewan and Western Canada as a whole?
What's happening so far that we're seeing because of the impact of the COVID in the plants, they can't predict from day to day how many people are going to be off work, how many people. I guess when the people don't show up to work, and I did hear a number last week that one of the plants had 700 people in one day not show up because of COVID symptoms. So what happens is the chain speed has to slow down. They're not able to slaughter as many cattle in a day as they have booked. And in a lot of cases, what's happening is they're calling the feedlots and making them take their slaughter cattle back that they had booked, or telling them they can't bring them that day. So the impact that it has on the industry as a whole is it goes from the feedlot. That feedlot is planning on emptying a pen of slaughter cattle that day, and their plans before that was to fill it with feeder cattle. So what happens is when they don't have anywhere to take the feeder cattle, the price of the feeders have to come down as well when they don't have a spot to put them.
What are the impacts on beef prices that you kind of mentioned already that these plants going down are going to have to affect the already slightly weaker market that beef industry is currently battling?
Well, since the 1st of January, to say the prices are lower, we wouldn't be further from the truth. The price of the feeder cattle actually has been very strong. And that's generally every year in January, it starts off quite high because you've gone 3 or 4 weeks where there's been no replacement cattle sell through the Christmas break, and the slaughter cattle have continued to move. So there is pen space, but we did get completely bombarded with feeder cattle here since about January the 4th to this week. We have seen huge numbers, and what that has done is it has filled those pens that were opened up. But with the COVID affecting some of these feedlots not being able to slaughter their fat cattle, going forward is where we could see there be a bigger issue with the price of feeder cattle. But that being said, we did move record numbers of feeder cattle because of the drought from July to December. So saving grace for the people raising the replacement cattle is that there were so many already moved that going forward, we probably are going to be okay just because there were so many already moved.
And then Shannon, what are the potential impacts that these outbreaks and the lower beef prices, what are they going to have on the consumer in the grocery store? How is that going to affect the price of beef there at the grocery stores?
Well, when it comes to trying to figure out, what the packers really can do, there's none of us are ever going to be able to get our thumb on it. One thing that was said to me last week was they dropped the price on the rail of the fat cattle down from $278 to $255 in 1 week, but yet the price of beef going out the other end, they had inflated the price because they weren't able to slaughter as many, so they dropped the price because the fat cattle are backed up. They can do that to the feedlot, but to the consumer going out the other end, there's less supply, so they can inflate the price. And it just seems to be ongoing in the beef industry, and it has for generations. And I guess it's something that we just got to live with. It's the old supply and demand.
And these lower beef prices, Shannon, how are they going to affect beef producers in terms of their input costs?
Yeah, we are at an all-time record high for cost of gain on cattle, and that is impacting the feedlots and the producers all the way through. A lot of guys are dumping their calves right now way lighter than they would normally like to, just for the plain and simple fact they don't have any feed left to feed them, so they have to sell them.
Thank you so much for this interview, Shannon, and hopefully maybe we will talk again soon.
All right, thank you, Thomas. Have a good day.